Hello, welcome to another journey through timeless wisdom of Rumi. In verse 15, Rumi says, "In our sorrows, they have become like nights, and nights have become the companion of darkness and fire." Or in Persian, he says, در غم ما روزها بیگاه شد روزها با سوزها همراه شد. So when Rumi talks about sadness, or generally in Sufism, sadness refers to separation from love or joining with our essence. And there are many ways that we can get separated from our essence. And when we follow those ways to get separated from that, we fill our days with sadness. And that can be very applicable to our day-to-day modern lives. Let's see examples of when we get separated from our divine essence. In that sorrow, we feel sadness and misery. I give you examples. Look at social media. Overconsumption of social media can be very distracting. And when you do it in a long term, that may result in you being deviated from your goal that is aligned with your personal development or with what your essence you really needs, which is growth. Social media can also have other impacts, like, for example, it can be very ego-driven, which we may think that impressing others can be very important. So see another example of something that can make us deviate from our goal of joining our divine and uniting with our essence. This consumption over time can make us anxious and sad if we are using it a lot over long period of time, really making us far from our goals. The other things can be watching television or news filled with advertisement, which either take us to overconsumption, saying that, okay, like all these TV ads could be about use this product to be happy. Because, for example, if you drive this car, you're going to be very happy. And that really is going to give us an example of things like materialistic things being the reason for our happiness. That can create a lot of anxiety in the long run for people who are consuming these products. The other things can be gossip, being with friends and just leaving them and talking about the dynamics of what was happening at that time, what our friends are thinking, what their interaction or relationship looks like, etc. These, letting our subconscious or conscious being driven by these external forces of gossip to something that is quite unimportant for our growth and for our love of divine can result us in being separated from our essence, and therefore can bring misery and darkness to our days over a long period of time. The same as using drugs like alcohol or weed or all sorts of drug, where it has a temporary impact of distracting us and kind of emptying our mind from all our problems artificially, and then after that getting all those sort of negative side effects after the use, and being hangover, not having enough energy, and all these things would bring us really to the misery and the low after the effect of drugs wear out, and then that further and further take us away from our essence, from our love, which would result in unhappiness. So what other examples can you say? Could you say something about ego-driven activities, especially the activities and the things we do in order to get validation from others, in order to impress other people? And we find that as a reason to be happy temporarily, but in a long term, it can program us to think that in order to be fulfilled, we need to impress others. And of course, that would never work over long term. So these distractions are the things that separate us from our essence and our divine and makes us suffer. And when Rumi says that in the sorrow of separation from you, I find my days like night, is exemplified is in us being driven by the things that are not aligned with our goal and growth, and making ourselves busy with things that are useless and gonna make us miss being in contact with who we are, being in contact with the universe and with our energy and with our goals. I remember that in the past, I have been in my personal life using a lot of social media. Like, what happened was that in the beginning of the use, for example, of Instagram, I was getting excited about something interesting in there. This could be things like, for example, a video of a cat or some funny accident or whatever. And then later on, I will be shown some of the things that my friends were doing. Maybe they had a lunch at the beach, etc. And when you are following that kind of path, or when I was doing that, I felt like after an hour, I wasn't anymore able to connect it to my own goals. And then I really reduced my use of social media, and I could feel the huge impact that it had. So we don't really want to get far from our divine and essence, and that is an extremely interesting and I think fascinating verse by Rumi, which says when we are separated from that, we're gonna start suffering. And yeah, let's you guys to do a self-reflection. Have you been using any of these examples of distraction that I talked about in your day-to-day life to get you away from being centered, to get you away from your essence? And have these things made you feel sad? Have you applied strategies to mitigate these distractions, which has helped you to have a better day? Please leave your comments in the comment section. Thanks very much for watching this video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.